Welcome to Module 8. From Module 8 upwards, we'll be talking about intermediate topics, or should we call advanced topics. So we'll be discussing advanced topics from now on. But in this particular module, we are going to learn about lookup function. This particular function allows you to search information in a table and also returns the result automatically. This is one of the most important skills in Excel, especially for office work and data analysis. So firstly, what is lookup function? Lookup function helps you find a value in a table. For example, you have a list of employees. You type a name. Excel automatically brings the salary, department, or position. Excel does it instantly without searching for it manually. To understand the idea of a lookup function, let's say you want to, or you have column A that contains employee serial number as shown here, column B employee's name, column C department, column D salary. Now if you type there 2, Excel can automatically return the name of the employee with the ID 2, or employee with the serial number 2, or returns the employee with the department, or return the salary of the employee with this serial number or with this ID number. So that's what lookup function, that's what it does. Apart from the VLOOKUP function, there are other lookup functions like the HLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP. But firstly, we are going to start with the most popular one, which is the VLOOKUP. So let's start with the VLOOKUP. So what VLOOKUP does is that the VLOOKUP function searches for a value in the first column of the table and returns the value in the same row from another column. So for example, if you find we're looking for someone with an ID, here is the structure or syntax of a VLOOKUP function. So equals to VLOOKUP, I pick it from the IntelliSense. Now it says the first one is the lookup value, the next one is the table array, the next one is col index, that's column index number, the last one is range lookup. This is the structure or the syntax for VLOOKUP function. Now let's break this down. Let's explain more further what the structure is or stands for. The lookup value here is the value you want to search for, the value you are searching for in this table. For example, you are working on this table, so the value you are actually searching for on this table is the lookup value. Example, for example, you want to search for a name, an employee name, and the employee salary. So that will save as your lookup value. The next one is the table range, the range of cell that contains the data. This one, the table range or table array. the table array is actually the range of cells that contains the data. So this entire table is where you are getting your data from. So it saves as your table array. So for example, you are searching for data in this entire table. So table that starts from A2 up to I6. That's your table array. The next one is the column index number. So the column index number is actually the column starting from the left hand side to count. The particular column you want to get the data you want it to return. For example, you want to get the department. Okay, you want it to return a department of a particular serial number or a particular staff ID. So your column index number is going to be 3 because department is in column 3, starting from the left to count. The first column here has the serial number, or you can call it the employee's ID. The second one has the name, employee names. And the third one is the department. So you want it to extract data from the department column. That's what it means. You want it to extract data from the department column. So your column index number is going to be 3. If you want to extract data from the salary column, your column index number will be 4, starting from the left to count. So when you want to put up your syntax, when you get to the column index number and you know the exact column you want your data to be extracted from or to be gotten from, start from the left and count up to the column. The number you get to the column is what you have as your column index number. So for example, if I want to extract the names, employee names, so starting from the left to count 1, 2. So my column index number will be 2. Okay. All right. I hope that's understood. Now the last one is the range lookup. Now this is actually optional because by default it's going to use false. So for false is an exact match. So if you want an exact answer or an exact outcome, you use false. But if you want an approximate match, okay, you use true. So this is the structure or the syntax of the VLOOKUP function. So after all this, Excel will return the results instantly. Excel will return your results instantly. So these are some important rules for a VLOOKUP function or in a VLOOKUP function. So keep this in mind, that the lookup value must be in the first row. Your lookup value must be in the first row. So if I'm to use this particular table for my to look up for any particular cell I want or any particular data I want, I'm going to be using this particular cell, which is the serial number. So the serial number will always save as my lookup value. So your lookup value must be in the first column. The lookup value must be in the first column. So please have that in mind. Now your VLOOKUP only searches from left to right. It searches from this downwards, then across the row. This downwards across the rows. Column down across the row. So that's how it searches. It does this. Searches here. When it sees the value, it comes to get the exact value that you're looking for. So that's how it searches. The next thing you should keep in mind is that always use false for exact match. So in your range lookup, use false for exact match. Okay, so exact match is going to extract the way it is for you. Okay, then the next one is that your data must be clean, no extra spaces. So you must have a clean record, or you must have a clean data in a table for this to actually work. So those are some things you should know about the important rules you must know about the VLOOKUP. Let's practicalize this. Let's have example 1. We are going to use this table for our practical exercises. So example 1, what we are going to do is for us to find the employee's name with the serial number 4, or with the employee's ID 4. That's what we are going to do here. So in another cell, let me use this cell as the cell I want my answer to be displayed. So in this cell, I'm going to type this particular formula. So my lookup value, I've already written my function. My lookup value, I'm going to have that 4. So I'll just put that's my lookup value 4, comma, then my table array will be from here to here. So I'm going to pick this. So that is for my table array. Then my column index number, will be 2 because I want the name. I want the name of the employee. So the column index number is going to be 2. So I'm putting the 2. Then my range lookup, put a comma, my range lookup, I'm going to use false for my exact match. Then I'm going to press enter. Now you've seen that Henry has shown. So the result there is Henry. So let's make some explanation to this. Looking at the syntax here, 4 here stands for the lookup value. Okay, the value I'm looking up for. I want the name of an employee with an ID 4. So the 4 here is my lookup value. I'm looking for a value in data 4 that has data 4. So that is the lookup value. Now the table array is the range of tables I'm having here. That's why I'm having table 2. It's the name of the table, sorry. That's why you're having table 2. But in other sense, where your data is not converted into table, you'll be having reference, cell reference. Okay, so if your table bears the name you give to the table, okay, don't panic. Okay, it's doing the right thing. All right, the next one there is the 2 I'm having here. Okay, the 2 is actually the column, the second column that contains the name that I want to find. So the name is in the second column. So remember I said for your column index number, you start from the left to count to know the exact column number of the value you want to find. So if the value you want to find is in column 3, okay, you use what? 3. So that is why I'm having 2 here. So the name, I want to look for the name of an employee that has serial number 4 or employee ID 4. So the column called name is in the second column, that's column 2. That's why you're having this 2 here. I hope that is clear. Now the last one here is false, which means that I want an exact match, exactly how it is. Please bring it out for me. So I want an exact match. That's why I'm having false here. So after that, I press enter and I have my results here automatically or instantly. So it actually means that Excel looks for the value here in the column, the first column, and then see that I want to look for is a value, okay, with the serial number 4, a name with the serial number 4. So it looks for 4 and then look across. Which column do they say I should look into? I should look into column 2. So it goes into column 2 and then sees that the person that has serial number 4 is what? Henry, or is who? Henry. So that's why it's displaying Henry here. Let's try another example. In the first example, we were actually finding records. Okay, we're looking for the records in the table. Now, example number 2, we are going to use the VLOOKUP with cell reference. So let's do the second example. So now we are going to look for a value in the first column. Remember that the VLOOKUP function works with the first column. Okay, it looks for the value in the first column down, then extracts the results, okay, for you in the rows. Now, I'm going to use this particular cell, okay, for it. So I'm going to have this formula equals VLOOKUP. I put or use my IntelliSense there. So I'm going to look for, instead of me typing the value I'm looking for, okay, I'm looking up for, instead of me typing the value I'm looking up for, okay, rather I'm going to pick the value. All right, I'm going to pick the value. Let's say I pick that, and then my comma for me to go into the next argument, table array. So I pick my table, then comma, column index number. This time around I want department, so I'm going to pick department. So department is in the third column. So I want to see someone that has 3, or someone that has, yeah, serial number 3 in the department. So the department column, that's why I'm choosing the 3 there, then comma, I'm going to have false. I press enter. So it displays IT. So the person with the serial number 3, okay, is in the IT department. Okay. Person with serial number 3 is in the IT department. So the A4 contains IT. Sorry, the A4 contains 3, so it returns IT. Okay, because I want to look uh, for it in the departments column. So the A4 contains 3. Okay, so the person with the serial number 3 is in the IT department. That's what it means. Okay, let's try another example. Example 3. Now, this particular example, we want to still use a reference, but we want to make it automated in such a way that when once a serial number or an ID is imputed here, the outcome comes up in a separate cell or in another cell. That's what we want to do now. For example, I don't want it to look like this, whereby after picking up my my lookup value, okay, my result still shows in the same cell. I want a situation whereby I can make changes not inside here when I want to look for another value. For example, I want to look for an employee with a serial number 1, okay, and I now have to come here and make changes. No, I want a situation whereby if I want to see another record, I have to type the serial number and the record will display for me. That's what we are about to do right now. So I'm going to pick this particular cell or any other cell. Okay, let me pick this one. Okay, let me pick that. So I want a situation whereby when I type an ID here, okay, the result displays for me here. So I'm going to use this one for my result. So I have equal to my VLOOKUP, pick from the IntelliSense. Then I'm going to, for the lookup value, I'm going to pick here this empty cell. Now this empty cell will save as my, should I call search bar? Okay. Then I put my comma and identify my table array, put another comma and identify my column index number. Now I want to be seeing the names of the employee with the serial numbers accordingly as being typed. So I want to see the names. So the names is in the second column, so that's why I'm having 2 there. Now I want an exact match, so I'll be using false. Then I'll press enter. Saying this, don't panic. It does not mean that you are having an error here. It's because there is no data here for it to read to generate your results for you. That's why you are having this particular message here. So we are going to input our data now. Now look at the magic here. And I want to see employee's name with the serial number 2. So I'll just type the 2 and I press enter. Have you seen the magic there? It brings up Alice. So if I type here 5, I press enter, it brings up Grace. If I type 1, I press enter, it brings up Peace. So as you're typing the serial number, the records or the value you want will be displayed. So those are some examples that we're going to have in this lesson. Another example that we are going to do right now is showing how to look up for value in another sheet. For example, you have 2 sheets. The first sheet contains, let's say, contains data like this, and the second sheet contains data like this. So you want to get data from the second sheet. Okay, you want to look up for data in the second sheet inside the first sheet. How will you do something like that? So that's what we are going to do. This particular lookup example is often used in offices for payroll, inventory, customer list, etc. So this is what to do to achieve um, that. So after your data has been set up, so this one is in sheet 1, which is the main sheet, and this one is sheet 2. Or let's just call this one is the main sheet, while this one is this one does not contain everything though. Okay, so we are going to be using these two sheets. Now we'll go to the first sheet, which is sheet 1, and then okay, let's look for a specific cell. Let's look for this. Let's use that cell for our calculation. So we'll write the VLOOKUP formula this way. So inside this cell, you're going to type equal to VLOOKUP. So you pick up that at the IntelliSense. So I'm going to use this one as my lookup value. So I'm going to use that cell, then command my table array. So I'll be using the table in sheet 2. So I'll click on sheet 2 and then I'll choose the table range. I'll put a comma and then my column index number, I want to be seeing total. So I'll now count the number of columns from the left hand side to the total. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put day 5. So I want to be seeing whenever the employee ID or the employee serial number is being typed, I want to see the total of that employee, the total salary the employee is getting. So after that, I'll put my comma and then my match. So I'll put exact match, and then after that, I'll press enter. Okay, so as I said before, if you see this, don't panic. Okay, it's just because Excel have not seen the lookup value. That's why it's giving you this. So it's not an error. So I'll just put up the value here. So let's see 2, person with the serial number 2. Then let me press enter. See the total comes up. So that's how to work with the VLOOKUP function. You can do it in so many ways. So what we just did right now is for us to extract data from another sheet. So as you can see, this one is a lookup function. The G13 is a lookup function, lookup value, sorry. So this particular cell was our lookup value, which means a kind of search bar. So when we just type in the person's serial number or the person's employee's ID. Okay. Now the table array is in another sheet. So as you can see, it here is in sheet 2, and in sheet 2 is in reference A2 to E6. Okay, now I want to be seeing in that sheet, so I want to be seeing only a value in column 5. I want to be seeing value in column 5, which the value in column 5 is the total. Okay, and the exact match, which is false. So that's why you're having this. And if you check the original or the main sheet, if you look at the main sheet, you see that you are having this. You are having 2. You are having this total salary 154. This is it, 154, and the total salary of this particular person with this employee's ID. Okay, so that's it. That's how it works. Okay, let me give you some tips. Now, when once you are using calling on another sheet to reference your data in VLOOKUP function, please um always lock the table range. Always lock it. Okay, make it an absolute reference, not a relative reference. I'm using the relative reference now. So make it an absolute reference by locking the sheet. When I say locking the sheet, you add a $sign to it. Okay, this is what I mean, adding a $sign to it. So with this, if I am copying it down, okay, if I'm copying it down, if I want to copy the exact formula down, it is not going to shift. The range is not going to be shifted. It's going to remain the way it is. So for you to prevent it from shifting, please always lock it by adding your $sign. So this will prevent it from shifting. The range will not be shifted. But if you don't lock it, okay, while copying it, the formula downwards, you notice that the reference will be shifting. So to avoid that, please always lock your range. Okay, if you want to know more about the absolute reference and how to use it effectively, please go back to previous module which I was talking about. Okay, cell referencing. So under cell references, you are going to be learning the difference between the two reference, absolute and the relative reference. So you learn more on that. So if you have more questions, you can go to that video and relate. Now, another tip is that please ensure that both sheets have matching column names. It have matching column names. So as you can see, my second sheets also have the same column names. Okay, name, salary, and the rest of them. So this one also have name, department, salary, and the rest of them. So you should make sure that they have the same matching names and no spaces in between them. So that's it. And if you see something like this, please, if you see something like this, okay, don't panic. It just means that the ID, the employee's ID, was not found in sheet 2, or the serial number was not found in sheet 2. So, or the lookup value is not found. That's the shortest way. This lookup value is not found. So when you just put up the lookup value, it solves the problem. So if you see this, don't panic. Just know that it's not an error though. Now the next lookup function that we are going to be talking about is the HLOOKUP function. But I'll just mention this quickly because it's just the same way you do for the VLOOKUP is what you would do for the HLOOKUP. So the HLOOKUP, the word HLOOKUP means horizontal lookup, just like VLOOKUP means vertical lookup. So instead of searching down columns, it searches across rows. So VLOOKUP searches down the column, okay, while the HLOOKUP searches across rows. The VLOOKUP searches across the column. It searches down the column, sorry, while the HLOOKUP searches across rows. So it is not actually commonly used, but it's just good for you to know it. So just quickly do for the HLOOKUP, then we are done, we move into the next one. So I'll just copy this so that I'll have the exact data. I'll just copy this, I highlight it and do Ctrl C for it to be copied. I'm going to paste it here. So I'm going to use this option called paste special. I'm going to use transpose so that I'll have the vertical aligning or vertical arrangement of that data above. So I'll just click on that. So this is it, the vertical, or the horizontal arrangement of the data I have above. So because you're going to use the data horizontally, not vertically, like what we did or what we have above here. So we'll be using the horizontal data arrangement because we are working with horizontal lookup. So it will not work when you are having you are having a vertically arranged data, and you want to look for data in a horizontal arrange method, so it will not work. So what you do is for you to set it in on horizontal method or horizontal arrangement form. So since we've arranged it horizontally, now let's see how to use the horizontal lookup function, which is the HLOOKUP. So I'll just quickly do this. I'll just use one of the example. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular cell to have my data. So I have equal to HLOOKUP. So I'm going to pick from the IntelliSense. It opens. I'll pick my lookup value. So I want to have this as my lookup value, and I'm going to put my comma, and then my table will be this, then comma, my row index number. Remember, the VLOOKUP was column index number. This one is row index number. It's just the same syntax, but the other one is for column and this one is for rows. So I'll just pick the second row, which is the name. I'll just use the 2, and then I'll use my exact match, which is false, and then press it. Gives me peace. So peace has its first serial number, okay, because I was choosing this. I was choosing B17. So B17 has its first serial number, okay. So that's how the HLOOKUP function works. Okay, now let's go to the next lookup function, which is the XLOOKUP. This particular lookup function is a modern version, let me call it that way. It's a modern version, and it is more flexible and easier. So now you can think of XLOOKUP function like this, telling Excel to go to the lists. For example, this go to this list and then find a value and bring the matching results from another list. Go to this list, find the matching value and bring the results in any of this list. That's what XLOOKUP means. Okay, with this, it makes it more smarter, more flexible, and also it fixed the limitation of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, because the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP, it's only looking for value in a specific column and a specific row. Okay, looking up for value in a specific column and a specific row. You only look for value in this first column. You cannot look for value in the second column. And I hope you understand what I mean. We always look for value in the first column. We cannot look for value in the second column or in the third column. Okay, we only return value in second, third, or fourth column. But looking up for value in the first column is what is the key here in the VLOOKUP function. But in the case of XLOOKUP function, is not that. It is more flexible that you can look up value in any of the lists provided. You can look up value here, here, or you can look up value in the rows as well. So that is why it is very, very flexible. So the syntax for the XLOOKUP function is this: equal to XLOOKUP. Okay, you see you have much structure here, or much syntax here. So let's explain this. Let's break this down. So the lookup value here is what you are searching for. Okay, you have the next one. The lookup array is where Excel should search. Where is Excel going to search it in? Now you have another one, return array. What you want to get back, that's the result you want to get back. So what you want back is the return array. And the last one, if not found, what to show if nothing is found. Okay, what should be shown if nothing is found. So that's the structure you are having in the X lookup function. So for my lookup value, I'll pick this. Let me say I want for a record 4, comma, lookup array, look up in this particular list, then comma, return array, return it in the list of this particular column, which is names, and if at all is not there, tell me not found, not found. Then I'll press enter. Voila, you see Henry as the result of it. If you look at this, you notice something powerful. So in XLOOKUP, you don't have to arrange it or align it vertically, align the data vertically or horizontally. And also, you selected only the exact column you need. So you only select the exact column you need. You did not count column, unlike VLOOKUP. Did not count column to see column 2, column 3, and the rest. Do not do that. So that's how to use the XLOOKUP function. Okay, now let's look at the XLOOKUP function. So the XLOOKUP function is just like the combination of the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP, but it's a modern version. Okay, it's a modern version. Like it's just been they've just incorporated it. Okay, not right now, but in the olden versions, we didn't have such feature. So this particular function, the XLOOKUP, is more flexible. And now let's know what this XLOOKUP is. So just think of XLOOKUP like this. Let's use this for example. So when you think of XLOOKUP, just think of it as if you are telling Excel to go into the lists. For example, this list, okay, employee record system, the list of employees. go into the list, find a value, let's say find a value Alice, and then bring the matching results from another list. Bring back Alice department or bring back Alice salary. Just think of it as if you are telling Excel, find Alice in the list of the names, then bring back the results, or bring back Alice department, or bring back Alice's salary. So when you think of XLOOKUP, just think of it that way. With this, it's smarter, more flexible, and it fixes limitations of the VLOOKUP. Okay, let me use another way to explain this. Okay, let's say you have student records, let's say class register. Okay, let me use a different sheet for that. So I'm going to add another sheet here for it. Okay, I've opened a new worksheet. So let's say I have these records as my class register. So I have this student ID. Then I have another, this will be names, and this will be scores. Okay, so let's say this is 1001, 101. Let's say 102, 103. Let me just use our autofill. Let's say you have 5 records. Okay, you have names. Let's say lesson. Let's say please. Let's say John. Let's say Peter. Or let's say Mary. Okay. So then now let's say the school principal asks what score did Peace get. Okay, what was Peace score? Okay, so we are using a class teacher scenario here. Now you would be searching manually. In a real sense, that's what will happen. You'll be searching manually. But what if there are like 100 students or 1,000 students, okay, in your class, or 100 students in your class, or 50 students in your class? So it will be very, very stressful for you to be looking at each of the scores one after the other. You'll be going line by line to look for Grace's Peace score, or John's score, or Blessing's score. So it will be very, very stressful. So that's where XLOOKUP comes in. Okay, so you think of XLOOKUP as Excel search engine. Okay, you telling Excel to go and find this item and bring back the information you need. For example, as we said before, go and find Blessing, or go and find Peace, and then bring back Peace score. That's the information you want. You want P's score. Okay, so search for P's and bring back its score. So that's the function of the XLOOKUP. That is how the XLOOKUP works. In a real life example, let me use a real life example, another example, so that you understand what the XLOOKUP does. Okay, so I'll just imagine you going into a library. Yeah, let me use library. So imagine you going into a library and you ask the librarian, okay, please find the book titled, let's say, Excel for beginners. Let me use that. Okay, tell the librarian, please find the book titled Excel for beginners, or XLOOKUP for beginners. The librarian will be searching the shelves one after the other so that he or she will find you the book and hand it over to you. Okay, that is exactly what the XLOOKUP function does. It searches, it finds, and it returns the answer. I believe that is really understood. I've taken time to explain examples by examples, scenarios by scenarios, so that you will understand the real function or how the XLOOKUP works. Okay, now let's see the structure of the XLOOKUP function. Okay, so let's just call up the function so that we will see the structure. All right, now this is the structure of the XLOOKUP function. This is how the formula looks like. Looking at this, I know you panic, but don't panic. Let's just break this down so that you understand what it means bit by bit. The first one is the lookup value. That's what you're having here. The lookup value. The XLOOKUP here is a function. The lookup value here is what you are searching for. Okay, for example, you are searching for peace or you are searching for Mary. Okay, so that's the lookup value. Okay, in the list, you are searching for Mary or searching for peace, any of the names here. So that saves as your lookup value. What you are searching for is the lookup value. Okay, the next one here is the lookup array. Okay, this is where Excel should search. Okay, this is where Excel should search. As the supposed name is in which column. Okay, the supposed name is in which column. So the names, the piece that you are searching for, is in column B. Okay, so this saves as your lookup array, where Excel is going to search for blessing or search for peace, okay, for you, is in the name column, which is in column B, using this example. Okay, so Excel searches this column for you. So that saves as your lookup array. The next one is return array. Return array. Okay, this is what you want back. This is what you want to get back. Okay, the information you want to get back. Okay, in the example we gave, we said look for peace and then bring up peace score. So the score that is going to bring back is the return array. Okay, it serves as the return array. So the return array is in the column C, which is the score column. Okay, so Excel will return peace score or returns blessing score, and which column carries which column carries score, okay, is in column C. So the column C here serves as what? Your return array. What you want back, the information you want to get back. That is your return array. I hope it's understood. So these other options are optional. But the main thing, the main structure is what we've just discussed. And please note how it is being used. Because if you don't know how you go about it, you don't know how to use it, you end up having a wrong answer or an error. Okay, so let's do a little example. Okay, let's just have a little example. Let's practicalize this. Example 1. So suppose we have this table. Let's use this table. Suppose we have this table. Okay, and we want to find piece, and then let's see piece score. We want to see the piece score. Okay, we want to see piece score. So how can we achieve that? What will we do to achieve that? So to get piece score, we are going to put up this function, the XLOOKUP function. We'll follow the structure as explained. So the first one is the lookup value. What lookup value are we looking for? We are looking for piece. So I'm going to type a piece. Since the word piece is a text, strings or label, it should be quoted because Excel sees text as uncalculated entries. Okay, if you want to know about type of data Excel calculates, okay, please go back to the basic videos. That will be module 2, or I've explained there the data, okay, the type of data Excel recognizes and used for calculation. Okay, so we're going to put there in quotation, we'll type the piece. So we are looking for piece. Okay, in the list we want to see piece. So where is piece, comma, that's the lookup array. Okay, the name piece, which column is the name piece in? So the name piece, we can find the name piece in column B. So I'm going to put that, okay, is in column B. So I put that is in column B. You should search for anything starting from column B2 to B6. Okay, find piece from column B2 to B6. Now I put my comma already. Now the next one is the return array. What do I want to get back in return? Okay, when Excel find piece, what information do I want to get back in return? Which of the data should it return? I want it to return the scores. So the score is in which column? Is in from C2 to C6. So I'll now do this and drag down. Then after that, I'll press enter. That's it. You see piece score 92. You see piece here 92. Now looking at this, if you have about, let's say 50 records here, let's say 50 students or 100 students, and it's only one person that will bear piece, okay, please, it is advised that you should have the 3 names. Okay, the 3 names will help. It is advised we have the 3 names. Okay, so that's how it is and that's how it works. Now let's go to example number 2. Let's use the cell reference. This one we were calling the name. Okay, we call up piece name. Okay, so in this second one, we are going to the second example, we are going to use the cell reference. We want to reference that particular cell that contains piece. Okay, so let's try that one as well. So if you don't want to call the name or type the name exactly, just call the cell reference of piece. Okay, so we have equal to XLOOKUP, pick from the IntelliSense. So it's going to come up. So suppose this cell contains piece. So we're going to pick the cell that contains piece, that's B3. We put a comma and lookup array is in B2, from B2 to B6, and the return value is also where C2 to C6, and then press enter to see the results. The outcome comes in or comes up. So Excel just says look at B3, and then it sees B3, and what is inside B3 is piece. Then it has found the piece and then returns piece score, which is 92. So that's why we're having 92 there as our result. So this is the most common way professionals uses the XLOOKUP function. And let's do for another example. Okay, let's go for example number 3. In example number 3, I'm just going to type in the name in a separate cell, and the result comes out for us in another cell. Okay, so let's try this. Equals to XLOOKUP. Then we want to be typing our value here. Okay, then our result comes up in the cell that we are typing our formula. So we'll use the cell that we want to type our value inside as our lookup value. So we put a comma, and we want to be searching for the student ID. Okay, we'll be calling on the student ID. So whenever a student ID is being called upon, the name will display. So I have that as my return array. I want this to be returned, the names to be returned. Okay, when once the student's ID is being called upon, the name of the student comes up. That's what we want. So that's what we are having there on the screen. So now we'll press enter. Now I always say don't panic if this comes up. It just means that Excel hasn't found any value yet. So we are going to put the value here for it to look for, and then give us the results here. So I'm going to type that I want to see person with the serial number 013. Okay, I'll press enter. You can see there is John. So on the list here, John has a serial number 013. Okay, all right, you can also do that for let's say finding a price of a product. You can use this VLOOKUP to achieve that as well. So now what happens if Excel cannot find what you're searching for? Let's supposingly Excel doesn't find the name of the student you are requesting for. What should happen? Okay, now normally Excel do show this. Okay, let me just delete this. Aha. Normally Excel do show this. So the meaning of this, okay, the meaning of this means that, sorry, I cannot find it. Okay, I cannot find what you are looking for. Okay, but you can make it more friendlier if more friendly if Excel doesn't find what you are looking for. So instead of it giving you this something like this, it will say something sweet or something more nice than showing you this, because normally in real sense, if we see this, we do see that it's an error. Okay, we do have in mind that it's an error, but you can make it more friendlier in such a way that when you see this, you know that, okay, it does not mean anything, or it just mean that Excel can't find it. So how can you do that? Let's just return this to where it was or how it was, and then let's do for it if Excel doesn't find our value. So I will put up here equal to XLOOKUP. Let's just, okay, let's use this. Right, this and comma. Okay, so instead of me putting a comma, I'll use this particular option, if not found. So if not found, what should it bring up? Okay, if not found, what should it bring up? Let me say it should say students record not found. So instead of it giving me the normal not applicable, the n/a, so it should tell me student not found. So I'll press enter and that's it. Since nothing is being written here, or since there is no search for any record here, it's telling me student not found instead of it giving me n/n. So, or hash n/a. So that's just it. Anything you type here, it will take off this because it has found the student. Okay, let's just put this and then press enter. It changes that to the record. But anytime it doesn't find any record at all, it will put up that information. So instead of the error, you can do something like this for you to have a more nice and friendly response. Okay, let's try another way or another something more nice. Okay, let's have these options. Let's have this particular let me call it headings, that whereby it will be displaying its information, okay, in its right place. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. I've highlighted it. Control C, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, let's paste it here. But I'm going to paste it vertically, not horizontally. So I'm going to use this option, transpose. Okay, all right. So I want the situation whereby when I type a student ID here, the informations will be showing in these other ones. Now let's begin. So the first method is using the XLOOKUP for each field. Okay, so I'm just going to do this so that you understand. This particular method is easier to understand, so that's why I'm using this method. So each of the fields, I'll be putting formula in it. So the first field, I'm going to put up this particular formula. So this is going to be the ID, student's ID. When I type the ID, the student's name and the scores will come up. So I'll have this equal to XLOOKUP from the IntelliSense. I choose this because that's where my records is going to be, that's where my search will be typed. Okay, what I want will be typed. So I want whereby, okay, when this is being typed, this will be returned. That's what I want. And if it is not found, just tell me student records not found. Student record not found. Okay, so let's press enter. All right, student record not found because there's nothing here. Now on the next field, that's the score field, I'm going to type the formula. Remember, the first method we are using is for us to be using the XLOOKUP in each of the fields. So we are going to be typing the formulas in each of the fields. So the next one is the record or the score. So I'm going to put up the score. So I have this and XLOOKUP. Then I'm using this because the record is going to be the information is going to be typed there. What I'm looking for is going to be typed there. So I'll pick this, then a comma, and I'll pick the score. Okay. If I found, tell me student record not found. Okay, so now let's see how it works. So I'm going to type a particular student ID here. Let's say 104. Okay, and I press enter. Okay, you can see the information displayed accordingly. So the student with the ID 104 has a name called Peter, or is with the name called Peter, and score 55. So that's it for the first method. Now the second method we are going to be using is for us to have just a single formula, and it will return the entire records. See, this one we were putting up the formula in each of the fields. We're typing the formula in each of the fields. So with this, okay, it makes it more easier to understand. So the next one we are going to be doing right now, the one that we are going to be doing right now, is us typing just one formula, and all the records will come, will be displayed. Okay, so that's what we want to do right now. So I'll just copy this and then paste accordingly. Okay, so I'm just going to have just one formula, and I have the records displayed. So this particular method, if you are using the recent versions of Excel, okay, you can just do this. Using recent version of Excel, you can do this. Okay, so recent version, by recent version I mean a version Offices or Microsoft 360 version, and Excel 2122 sorry 212324 and the rest of them. Okay, so let's do this. I would have transposed this because it's going to be giving me in horizontal way, not the vertical. So I'm going to have this. Let me copy again and transpose it. See, and I'm going to transpose it. Okay. All right. So now as I said before, we are just going to have just one formula and all the records will be displayed. That's how this other method works. So I'll have equal to XLOOKUP, choose from my IntelliSense, and then I'm going to choose this particular cell because that's where my search bar is. Okay, I'm using that cell for my search bar. So I put up my comma and my lookup array. Okay, looking up for the first column there. Then I'm going to use this, get the names and the scores as well. Then I put my comma and then my quotation. If the student is not found, it should tell me student found, and then press enter. Okay, now let's see how effective that formula works. So I'm going to type the 101 and then I'll press enter and see the results. See how beautiful it is. So instead of you typing one formula at a time, you just have one formula and all the records comes up for you. So it's looking for this formula, is going to look for the student ID. Okay, the student ID is in column A2 to column A6. So after that, it will return all the matching columns, okay, which is the names and as well as the score. So with this, it splits the results into adjacent cells automatically. So it's going to split the results into adjacent cells. Okay, this is very fast and most powerful way to build a searchable record with a lookup form. So in a real world form, you can use this. You can use this technique for student record search, just the way we've done right now. You can use it for employee database. You can use it in customer information lookup. You can use it for inventory stroke product search. You can also use it for a person in patient record system. You can also use it for membership directories. So and that's it. Okay, so now why is it that XLOOKUP is better than VLOOKUP? Okay, why is XLOOKUP better than VLOOKUP? So older versions of Excel uses the VLOOKUP. Okay, XLOOKUP improves on it several ways. In several ways, it improves on it. Improves what we have in the VLOOKUP. Let me just take this out so that with this everything looks so compact. Let me just put this. Take this to let's align that very well. Now let's talk about the let's talk about why XLOOKUP is better than VLOOKUP. So for VLOOKUP searches only left to right, but XLOOKUP searches left or right. Okay, it goes either ways. Is that left or it goes right? But for VLOOKUP, it only searches from left to right. Okay, this way it looks down this way, see and value, and returns what you want. Okay, the next reason why XLOOKUP is better than VLOOKUP is that it can break if columns are inserted. So the VLOOKUP can break if columns are inserted, but in HLOOKUP it's more flexible. It's very, very flexible. Let me show you. Let me quickly show you why I say so. typical example of why I'm saying so. Okay, so let's say let's add a role. Let's add a role to this. Okay, first of all, let's use a VLOOKUP so that when we add a column, sorry, not row, when we add a column and when we add a new column to it, we'll see how it works. If actually it will break, okay, when a new column is inserted. Then also see how the XLOOKUP will also work as well. So let's work with the two and see how it goes. So I'm going to use the VLOOKUP here, but the XLOOKUP is already being used here. So you watch out for the XLOOKUP result here, okay? Then for the VLOOKUP, just watch out the result in this particular cell that I'm typing. Okay, so I want okay, student ID 103. Okay, I put my table array is this, the entire table, and the column number. I want the column number 1, 2, 3. Okay, I want the column number. Okay, the score. So I will choose 3 on the column. Okay, let me use names. Oh, let me use 4 rather. 3. Okay, and the range will be false for me to get the exact value, so I'll put it. So I have the score that's 73. So I wanted the score of a student with the ID 103. That's why I'm having 78 here. All right, now if I now realize that I would have added a new column to it, let's say class. Okay, I'll insert a new column. I highlighted the column C because that's where I want my new column to be inserted. I come here and I insert sheets column. Okay, inserted in sheets column. Now here will save as class. So I'll just put the class. Okay, so maybe I'll have this SS S1 S3 S2 JSS and JSS 1. Okay, so now the column is being added. Okay, the column is being inserted and you've seen the result. Now the result here changes because the formula said column 3. Okay, so instead of the score, the first one was that the score was in column 3. Okay, now we are having the class in column 3. So what if I want to still see the score? I'll have to come here and say it should be in column 4. Okay, because the score is in column 4. Now press enter. You can see there it changes to my previous answer, which was 78, which was the score column. And looking up for the XLOOKUP here, the XLOOKUP here have given me the class as well. It has added the class. Remember in this other one, we were working with the formula whereby we just type in the ID and the all the information concerning that particular ID will be displayed. So let me type in another ID so that we have that. Okay, you see the information related to this ID displayed here. All right, so what if this is being deleted off. Okay, what if the class is being checked out? So now watch out for this. I'm going to delete this column off. Now let's see how it goes. So I'm going to delete and then take it out. Have you seen that? You see, in the XLOOKUP, everything returns to normal. Okay, since the column is out, okay, it means that that particular record is out. So with that, it takes it out in the XLOOKUP. But look over here in the VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP function, because it has not seen the column 4 again, that's why it's giving you this error message, or that's why it's giving you this error. Okay, that's why you are seeing this error. So with that, the formula breaks. Okay, the formula breaks. Is just as if I've altered something. Okay, it does not see that that particular column is no more, because if it sees that that particular column is no more, nothing would have been here. Okay, but since it is that this column that we were working on is no more there, okay, it's giving you an error message. But in XLOOKUP, it returns everything the way it was. Okay, it makes it look flexible. It's more flexible. It just see that that means that that record is normal, so it takes it out and everything becomes plain and okay. So you can see how flexible the XLOOKUP is. So that's why that's one of the reasons why the XLOOKUP is better than the VLOOKUP. Another reason is that the header it's harder to understand. Okay, the formula here is harder to understand to some extent, because you will have to make sure you pick from the first column for you to get your result, your desired result. Pick from the first column because it looks from the first column downwards, okay, then across the row when it sees the right record. So but in the XLOOKUP is very easier to read, as you can see here. Okay, you can see here it's very easier to read. Now the next one is it requires a column, a column number, just what we have it requires a column. You have to sit down to count the number of column, the particular column you're looking for. Count the column from left to the right hand side to have the right column number. So it's very stressful for that. Okay, now in the XLOOKUP, whereas in the XLOOKUP you have that's the function, or yeah, the function is directly specified. So you specify the column is going to return. Okay, if it's returning column A, you say it's returning column A. If you want it to return column B, you say it's returning column B. Not you counting the number of column to get to the column that you want the answer to be returned. Okay, so you can see why the XLOOKUP is better than the VLOOKUP function. So now let's just recap to see the key things you should remember. The key things you should remember is that it has different structure, or it has the structure. The XLOOKUP have structure. Now this is the structure. So the first structure is the lookup value. Okay, we have the first thing there, which is lookup value. So the lookup value is actually what you are searching for. The next one is the lookup array. The lookup array is where Excel should search, and the return array is what Excel should bring back. What Excel should bring back. And perhaps this option is optional, but it's more likely powerful. So this particular one is telling Excel what should display if there is no match. So if there is no matching result, what should it display? So this is just a quick recap of what XLOOKUP is. So if you see XLOOKUP, think of XLOOKUP like you asking someone for an assistant, okay? Ask someone for helpful assistance, okay? So that's what you need to know about the XLOOKUP. So common lookup errors. So you may see the the hash n/a. So if you see that, though it's an error, but don't panic, it's just telling you that the value is not being found. Okay, so if you have a wrong result, it means that there is an incorrect column number there in your formula. Okay, and if there is no result at all, please know that there is a mismatch in the data. Okay, so always double check your data and formula before hitting the enter key. In this module, you've learned what lookup functions are, how to use the VLOOKUP function. We've done introduction to HLOOKUP function. We've shown how to also use the XLOOKUP function, and also why the XLOOKUP is better than the VLOOKUP. Then we also see the common lookup errors. So in the next module, we'll move into data analysis using pivot table. So we'll go into pivot table where you will see how to summarize large data easily. So if you find any particular topic not well understood, please look forward to reach out, or you can also watch the previous videos to see if you can catch up with what we are discussing. So see you in the next lesson.
If you find this video helpful, please subscribe to SME Digital Tools Academy for more videos like these. Thank you.